This Lent, we're in cycle B of the Sunday readings, which means the third, fourth, and fifth Sundays of Lent all come from John's Gospel. Last week we heard Jesus cleanse the temple. Today it's part of his discussion with Nicodemus in John chapter 3. And it says, Jesus said to Nicodemus, just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life. And here comes the famous passage that you see the scriptural citation for at every sporting event. John chapter 3:14. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him might not perish, but might have eternal life. There in a nutshell is the good and saving news of the gospel, that Jesus did not walk out in the world. He did not give up on us, but he sends us his Son because he loves us. He loves the world that he fashioned. And Jesus says, just as the serpent was lifted up in the desert to heal the people that had been bitten by the seraph serpents, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. There's no transfiguration narrative in John's Gospel. So second Sunday this year, the transfiguration came from Mark's Gospel. Because for John, the transfiguration, the glorification of Jesus, his most shining moment was not the transfiguration, but it was his crucifixion. So it's when he's lifted up on the cross. That's what Jesus is talking about in this morning's gospel. No one would look at a crucified figure and say, that's glorious. That's spectacular. On a human level, we would see crucifixion as defeat, as failure, as utter humiliation, as the annihilation of a human life. And yet, because of the resurrection, the crucifixion takes on its transforming power. And that is a power that this world cannot understand. So tellingly, St. Paul says, that the cross of Jesus is foolishness to Gentiles and a stumbling block to the Jews. No one could understand what sort of strange God would die on a cross. What sort of God is this who would give his life on the cross for our sake? What I find most unsettling about the Passion narrative is the vulnerability of Christ, that he puts himself out there to the extreme of embracing crucifixion for the sake of saving us, allows human beings to pound nails into his hands, to crown his glorious head with a crown of thorns, and to hang him high in the spring air and leave him to die. But in that moment, Jesus is most free, he is most effective, and he is most powerful, because it's in his death on the cross that he accomplishes the will of the Father and saves us. The Son of Man must be lifted up, so that we who believe in him may have eternal life. That is the saving good news that we live every single day, and most profoundly in this season of Lent.